My fiance just proposed. I told him to get me a new ring.
If he liked it, he should have put a good ring on it.
Clarification. So I, female 26, and my now fiance, male 29, have been together for a year and a half now. After years of trying and failing on online dating, I was determined that I would meet someone in person to succeed in dating. However, some friends at work convinced me one day to make a profile on Facebook dating, which I didn't even know was a thing at the time. As God would have it, he is the very first person I matched with.
The first person that you match with on Facebook dating can't be that good.
You know what they say, first is the best.
The we're best?
Yep.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Yes. From the moment we started talking, things just came so naturally between us. By the way, this comes from Total Present 7043 on the r/CharlotteDobreyoutube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and send them in. So, a year and a half later, our families have met and fallen in love with each other. Families fell in love with each other?
How in love?
Our friend groups have merged. I can never see us going back to how it was before. He's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, that's nice.
It's gonna work out perfectly.
They're gonna get married.
This is it. So like there's no more.
This is the person they're gonna spend the rest of their life with.
No.
What?
Something's gonna happen, and something's gonna happen.
That's all I gotta say.
Now, on to some content before addressing the issue. For the first year of our relationship, he was convinced that he would not propose / get married to me without at least 2 years of dating first.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is fair.
That's very reasonable.
After talking about it further, he confessed that he had a negative view of marriage due to how he grew up. His mom had been through 2 previous marriages. She was on the 3rd by the time that we had started dating. She's happily married now to her 3rd, but in his eyes, marriage meant that the relationship would eventually deteriorate. He said he saw this in his biological and first stepfather. They stopped loving and caring for his mom like they would before they were married. So his thought was that once we got married, he would do the same and hurt me / us.
But you see, this is kind of a causation correlation thing. Because the fact that their relationships failed wasn't because they got married, it's because they were bad at the relationship.
Yeah, this kind of feels like saying like, one time I saw a man not have water and become dehydrated. Therefore, I am going to be dehydrated.
Yes.
But guess what, Sophia?
No, not today.
You can hydrate, brother. So you can hydrate and you can migrate your feelings back to your partner because you will stay in love with them. I made it work. So it took us working through it in counseling and him seeing my parents' relationship to get him to open up and see that marriage can be beautiful and a true partnership. I was thrilled when he began opening up more and was willing to discuss our possible wedding wants / desires and our plans for our future together. Now, during this time, we went to our state fair.
Oh, never go to a state's fair.
Now, it's something that he never grew up doing, whereas I went every year as a child, so I had to share it with him. This was our 2nd time going, so he knew the place that he wanted to hit first, and this included the convention center. Vendors usually set up here from local businesses. They advertise and sell their stuff with southern charm. As we were pursuing the stalls, we came across a jewelry stand, and I started trying on rings of every design just to get an idea of what I liked. I told him the whole time that if he felt uncomfortable, we could walk away, and I would not press the issue, but he was a trooper and he let me try on all the rings I wanted to my heart's content. After about 10 minutes, I came across a ring that reminded me of my great-grandmother's, vintage style with a princess cut in the middle and a matching wedding band, see picture included. It was only $85 since it was stainless steel with Cupid zirconium stones. This will be important later, I promise. And also I see you.
Uh-oh.
I think I see you.
He's going to get like a $10 ring from unnamed corporation.
Time goes on, and out of the blue, a couple of months ago, my mom starts taking me for a girls' day every 2 weeks to get lunch and get our nails done. I was suspicious, so I asked her, and she told me the truth.
Why? Sorry, continue.
He was planning to propose some point in the near future. He had spoken to her about getting her and my father's blessing, and she was determined to make sure that I had pretty nails, quote unquote, for when he did pop the question. I wasn't allowed to know when it was, so we started getting our nails done in February, so that way I would not know when it was coming. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay.
This meant I got time to spend with my mom, just the 2 of us, and his proposal would still be a surprise. And boy, was it! Now, something to know about my fiance is he he is a very introverted and private man. Whenever it comes to big emotions and talking about our feelings, it is something to be done just the two of us without a crowd to see. And his proposal reflected just that. We came home from grocery shopping, made dinner together in the kitchen like usual, and then he went to the bedroom and comes back with a big bouquet of sunflowers, my favorite, and asked if I would be his sunflower forever. Where's your reaction?
OP seems to like this. Does it read like a high school prom proposal?
Hey, listen.
But OP seems to like it, and that's all that matters.
So I, of course, said yes and began to cry as he swept me in his arms. And the ring in the box, the ring I bought at the state fair that brought me to tears, he had gotten it from my mom, who snuck in from my door box to get it cleaned. After slipping it on my hand, taking a few pictures and a few extra kisses, we called my parents to share the news with them. They invited us on a date night they were having the next night to celebrate and show off the ring. Now, the moment we've been waiting for. Now, here is where the surprise continued, but the issue arose. Mom and dad's date night, total BS.
They're divorced.
Oh God. It turned out to be a giant gathering of my family and his and all of our friends together to celebrate.
Oh. It's lovely.
Is this good, bad?
No, that was nice. Yeah, so far.
Right? They've been planning this party just as long as he had been planning the proposal. I walked into a receiving line of about 23 excited guests offering congratulations and asking to see my ring. Among them, my future sister-in-law. Now, she's a very nice girl, but I will say she is a bit materialistic. She likes her clothes and her purse is high-end, and she was always looking to humble brag whenever she gets a compliment on them. She looked at my ring and squealed, "Oh, it's so beautiful." But after a couple of seconds of her looking at it closer, she openly stated, "Oh, I guess you don't care about real diamonds, do you?"
I guess you don't care about keeping your mouth shut, but minding your own dang business.
Ooh.
If OP wants to be gifted a ring that she already bought and was then stolen from her, that is her right. Don't comment on it.
She loves it.
She loved it. It made her cry because she picked it out and bought it. Did he refund her?
No, Sophia. That would ruin the magic. Of course. So, to say my flabbers were gasted would be an understatement. Thankfully, I was the only person who heard it since we were somewhat away from the group and thankfully away from my fiance. I explained to her that I didn't care about an overly expensive ring with real diamonds and that it was the ring that made me happy. She said, "Well, as long as you're happy," with all the fake Southern charm that I know all too well from growing up. Now, at the time, I didn't let it get to me and I enjoyed the rest of the evening. But now, a week after the proposal, I don't know what to think. I talked it over with my mom, and I guess what irks me more than anything isn't the fact that it doesn't have real diamonds. It's the fact that I bought my own engagement ring.
Yeah. Should irk you a little bit.
Sophia, are you telling me?
Yeah.
Or is what you're saying right now?
That's what I'm saying.
If a woman buys a ring for herself, then her partner steals that ring and gifts it back to her and making sure not to refund her. Yeah. You're telling me that might not be a cash money move.
It just might not be. It just may not be a cash money move, John.
I'm shocked.
No, this is so chill. I like it.
So I know that my fiance was trying to be romantic and used the ring that reminded me so much of my great grandmother's. And to be honest, I do love this ring. However, I picked it out and paid for it, not thinking of it as an engagement ring. I'm a bit of a traditional girl, and I do think that a man should pick out the ring, even if he needs a little help to know what designs to look for. For context, we are currently saving money to buy a house after we get married in October of this year. We have about $10,000 saved so far, with my parents offering to match whatever we have by October 1st, so we can put that as a down payment on a house of our choosing. Now, if you were to get me a new ring, I definitely would not want something that would break our savings. It could be stainless steel and cubic zirconium, just like the one I'm wearing now, or of course it could be white gold and moissanite to save money. I hope I said that right. I'm not a materialistic girl by any means. So I am ready to accept any and all judgment for this, but would I be the a-hole if I asked my fiance to get a new ring? We have an update, but Sophia.
Ooh.
We got to talk.
The thing is, I don't think that OP is necessarily the a-hole for feeling this way. Because I think a lot of people in the comments are saying, like, why didn't she bring it up in the first place if she was, if she was feeling this way? Like, she seems to have changed her mind. But I do think probably she was overcome with emotion and was like, oh my God, I'm getting proposed to. And she's like, I did like the ring. But now it's reflecting on it, which is, when most of our thoughts happen is when we reflect on something, we realize, oh, actually, that does kind of irk me. Like, I paid for that ring.
Yeah.
You didn't even give me money for that ring. I think that she's right to have those feelings. I don't know necessarily how she would approach the conversation though, because I think you would have to do it carefully.
Yeah, I mean, we've been giggling and goofing the whole time, but I think she's well within her right to not want that. I do not think it is a unreasonable ask.
No.
And you know what? I mean, she could be honest in that, like, hey, initially maybe it's just she was so happy over the proposal, it kind of didn't like really register, but now that she's kind of had like a few days to sit and process, it's that feeling is kind of like, I feel like that's a fair,
even approaching it from the kind of mindset of, hey, I was so excited to like by the idea of marrying you that I didn't even think about this. And I still am so excited. I just, have been thinking about the ring a little bit now.
Yeah. We need more than $85 maybe.
87. I mean, the thing is, it was $0. Yes. More than $0.
Yes.
More than theft. That's the problem. There were no money spent.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have an update.
Woo!
So let's get into it. First off, I want to thank all of you for giving me the much needed dose of reality. Sorry for yelling. You guys were totally right. If I loved the ring before showing it to anybody, then why the heck should I care what other people think? And why would I let a materialistic snob get inside my head? I was definitely letting her get under my skin with her comments when I really should have just shut her out. I also love what a lot of you suggested about waiting until a year or more to replace the ring on one of our anniversaries. After all, we have been working so hard to save up our money for a place to live, and that is much more important to me than having a ring. Now, on to the drama that has unfolded since the first post. After reading a lot of y'all's comments and responses, I decided I was going to tune out my future sister-in-law's negativity and love my ring for all its beauty. I wasn't even going to bring it up to my fiance, especially since I didn't want to cause a rift between them and have him look at his sister in a negative light. However, he ended up coming to me about her comments. It turns out that she ended up texting him a couple of nights ago about my ring. From what he told me, she was asking him why he proposed too soon since he was going to wait longer originally, and why didn't he propose with the real stone, and if he was too cheap to spoil me with the real deal.
Dang, she's got things to say.
And it's like, do we need to say these things?
No, we don't need to say any of these things.
It's not our business.
Yeah.
Come on. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was one thing to say something to me, woman to woman, and maybe we could just let it go from there. But oh boy, I had no idea she would go to her brother with such ugly comments. Needless to say that he was fuming at this point when retelling the story to me. Something to know about my fiance, he is the least confrontational person I know. He is always one to try and talk it out with someone before it can escalate into a fight. However, he is fiercely loyal and a protective man. Anytime anybody has ever said anything negative to me or about or our relationship, he has always been swift to defend me and us at any cost. So he texted back, why would you even say something like that? Since when did it matter to you whether or not I gave her a diamond? I don't recall you guys being best friends and her sharing her opinions with you, because if she had, you would know that she doesn't care about having a real stone or not. She's not like you, and she doesn't need anything flashy or expensive to know that I love her.
No, he's like, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her response to this text message, sister-in-law says,
wait, do the big mouth voice.
They hate the voice.
They hate it? I
don't know.
Just do it for the oh my gosh.
I'll do it. Oh my gosh. Oh. There's no need to be so dramatic. Oh. I'm just saying every girl deserves to know that she is valued in the eyes of her man. After all, I know that's what David, her boyfriend of 4 years, would do for me if he ever proposed. Well, guess what? He hasn't.
D for dump you.
Got you. Here's where maybe he was possibly the a-hole. He shot back, oh really? Because I seem to remember you complaining for the past year and a half about how he's never brought up the topic of marriage to you.
Ooh, burn.
Seems to me you're so wrapped up in my engagement because you know that David will never propose to you. You might want to think about that the next time you try to say something witchy to me or my fiance.
Dang! Sister's gonna need some aloe vera for that burn. Because that's a 3rd degree.
That is toasty skin.
Ouchie.
Sweet baby Jesus. I could have married him right there on the spot. I was so proud of him for putting her in her place. Well, what happened next was unexpected. Sister-in-law went silent. No responses, no comebacks. He didn't hear back from her, but the next day she called me. Ooh. And dang, did I not expect what she said. She apologized to me.
What? Shock.
Here we are. People are growing.
Sometimes people get read the rights and they go, wow, Shouldn't have done that.
You're correct. She said after what my fiance said about her and David, she realized that she was being a witch and didn't mean it as a dig towards me. She said before I came over, she was trying to hint at David about now that her brother and I were engaged, that it would be their turn soon enough. Apparently, David didn't take the hint, which pissed her off. And when I came over, she saw my ring and got even more pissed. She apologized again, saying she was pushing her jealousy and hurt onto me, and she hoped I could forgive her.
Wow.
Forgive or not, Sophia?
Absolutely. I think if someone
Why?
comes to you with a genuine apology and says, I realized that it was my own kind of insecurities about my relationship and I should have never done that, absolutely I would forgive. Because they made some nasty comments, but we read so many stories where people make nasty comments and they get called out on it and then they double down.
Yes.
The fact that, owning up to your mistakes and owning up to being wrong is so hard. Like, that is something that I struggle with. Like, it is hard to do. So
Yes.
if you have a person in your life who does that, absolutely, I think, I would accept that apology.
By the way, if you want to forgive yourself for not listening to every single podcast episode we've ever published, I have one thing you need to do right now.
What is it?
Or I will be the most furious human that has ever been birthed on this earth. on this rock.
Furiosa.
Go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart, search OK Storytime, and listen to over 2,000 episodes of our podcast. But Sophia, right before we get into this ending of the story, kind of cute, kind of good so far, right?
Wrong, John.
Kind of great.
Wrong.
Tell me.
I think everyone in the freaking Reddit comments, and also her husband's lashing out at, or her fiance's lashing out at her, at his sister, has made OP forget what the real problem is here.
You're so right.
He stole a ring.
Dude, we completely forgot about
She's
that.
being gaslit into thinking that she was wrong for having doubts about that. This is crazy.
So Opie says, I told her I'd absolutely forgive her and that I was sorry that David was such a clueless dummy. Lol. Dang, David catching strays. I also suggested she sit down with David and have a real conversation about their future and when/if he thought he would propose to her. She agreed, apologized one more time, and then we said goodbye. So there you have it. We worked it out with sister-in-law. I'm back to loving my ring for all its beauty.
She's gaslit herself. I don't believe you.
And I have a fiance, no longer a boyfriend, whom I adore and who adores me as well. Maybe we'll upgrade my ring in the future, but who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe
She's like,
won't.
maybe in the future he'll buy me a ring. I don't know. I don't care.
He'll go to
Fine.
Temu and put an order in. All that matters is that we love each other.
That's true.
And we are happy.
This is true. But are you happy?
Are you?
My brother's wife is cheating on him. I don't know how to tell him.
They're cheating.
My little bro has been married to his wife for 5 years. They've been together since they were 14 and 15. The relationship has always been fairly rocky in that they fight a lot, and she has quite serious, so far undiagnosed, mental health issues, possibly bipolar, but not sure. They are in huge amounts of debt because she has crazy spending habits and basically can't afford to live because they're paying off literally dozens of loans and credit cards.
Oh.
By the way, this comes from Nymphadora85, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I am good friends with my sister-in-law. We chat a lot, she trusts me, and I try to support her in getting help for her mental health problems. But she struggles to actually get help / is convinced that she's fine as the world around her burns to the ground. She met a colleague, 24 male, at a new job just under a year ago and basically fell in love with him.
Oh.
And later turned out he fell in love with her.
Oh.
She started out saying it wasn't a problem, they could be friends and colleagues, etc. It started to get worse when they joined a gym together and basically spent every night at the gym.
It's Riley's worst nightmare.
Then she'd go back to his flat, shower, and change, and they'd hang out, and eventually she'd head home. It progressed to them spending every waking moment together while my brother works 2 jobs trying to pay back all the debts. If you saw their Facebook profiles, you'd assume they were a couple. And this is just going on and no one's stopping it?
Dude, yeah, and the guys, he's working 2 jobs to try and pay off all her debt.
He's probably not even looking at Facebook.
He has no time.
He's too busy.
Wow.
She confided in me a few months back that they'd almost had spicy sleep and she wanted to, but they didn't have protection.
Oh.
I would / should have spoken to my brother back then, but the next time I speak to her a day or so later, she says her and brother have had a big makeup, all is right with the world, new guy is history, etc. So I drop it. No.
Dang.
No.
Dang.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what OP and her brother's relationship is, but I'm not keeping, if my brother had a partner like this, I'd be like, no, I've already told him.
Yeah.
Like I told him yesterday.
Dude. Yeah, that is not tenable.
Then a few days ago, she tells me all that was a lie. Her and bro have never made up. She literally hasn't even spoken to him about it. He's just ignoring the whole situation and hoping she'll see sense and ditch the new guy. Bro told me that he trusts her. He just doesn't trust new guy. But I know that it's her that he shouldn't be trusting, as she orchestrated the whole thing by her own admission. And every time new guy says they should break it off because she's married, she ropes him back in by her own admission. I asked her if they'd had spicy sleep. She said no, but they'd done other stuff. She's full cheated.
She's full cheated.
She's full cheated.
Yeah.
And she's being so blasé about it.
Right. And this also could be trickle truthing too. So it could be even more than what she's admitting to. Like,
absolutely. And the fact that OP is not divulging this information immediately to her brother is mind-boggling to me.
We got to do that ASAP.
I got the impression she was lying. Even if it were just other stuff. When I asked her what that meant, she said oral, hands, kissing. OP's like, I got the impression she was lying. Who cares? Who cares? She just admitted that they did all that.
But she's like, oh, I just did other stuff.
She's like, she still didn't go all the way, so it's not cheating.
Yeah, it's just other stuff, you know, like it's
That's
just
crazy.
it's okay.
That's crazy. I know my brother would still see that as cheating. Anyone would see that with cheating.
That is literally cheating.
Anyone with eyes would see that as cheating.
Guys.
There are other major issues apart from the cheating and debt. For example, he desperately wants a family. She does not, but will continue to tell him in a few years to keep him hanging on, even though she has said herself to me that she does not want children at all. They're at a point in life where they will need to move houses within the next 3 to 6 months. From a logistics/finance POV, if they're going to separate, it would make sense to do so before investing in a new place to live. We have space for my bro, and he's welcome. She's already said to me that she would move in with a new guy if they did separate. I love both my brother, and I did love my sister-in-law. I can see that this is crushing my bro, but he's not one to confide in people or share problems. I mean, neither are you. I can see that I will lose my friendship with sister-in-law over this. Why would you want to be friends with her? But my brother comes first. Yeah, after like 6 to 10 business days,
Yeah.
I realized over the last few months that my sister-in-law is not a nice person. I'm not sure if I want to stay friends with her after all this anyway. I just have no idea how to tell him this, and even whether or not he'd believe me. I fear he will withdraw and hide away once he knows that I know about their marriage problems. I'm stuck in the middle of a situation where whatever happens, everyone's hurting, and I don't even know if I should intervene, let alone how I should. I think I should intervene, but I guess I need confirmation from you guys that it's the right thing to do before I go and bugger everything up. Edit. Sorry, I don't think my post was very clear. I only got the full picture and knew for definite she was cheating yesterday. The incident 6 to 8 weeks ago, she told me that she had confessed an emotional affair to bro. They'd made up and everything was okay. At the time, I had no reason to think she was lying about that. Also, some relevant context that I realized I should have added to explain why this is hard for me to know I'm doing the right thing and why I needed validation. I got personally blamed by my crazy, harmful mother for my parents' divorce, even though their issues began before I was born, and it literally wasn't my fault. A part of me is scared that I'm going to get accused again of breaking up a marriage for craps and giggles. Although my brother knows our mom is crazy, he's not very open with stuff, so I don't know for certain that a part of him doesn't believe I'm the cause of our parents' divorce. And even if only a little part of him does, deep down, he might think I'm just doing the same to him and his wife. I don't know. Growing up with a harmful parent throws out all of your normal when it comes to relationships, hence me needing normal people to tell me what to do. Thanks for all the advice so far. And there is another edit that is longer, so we can, and an update.
Oh.
But before we get into those, do you have any thoughts, John?
Oh, man. So many thoughts. Just to quickly address what they just said, any parents that make their child think that the divorce was the child's fault is the worst people ever.
Worst people.
That's just number one. Opie has had the misfortune of being surrounded by
Bad
not
people.
good people.
Yeah.
But back to the issue at hand. Yeah, like not only should you be talking to your brother, but it's like it seems the brother is just like, okay, yeah, I'll just like ignore it and hope it goes away. And it's like, dude, dude, like it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
If you
He's burying his head in the sand.
Yeah, and you know, it seems like he's very, you know, non-confrontational, and like I do get it's like this isn't his mess, and you know, he's maybe like afraid to bring it up, and he's the victim in this scenario. But at the end of the day, like it's all just gonna be worse.
It's all there.
I don't know.
You're just putting a rug over poop.
Yeah, and that's stinky.
Yeah.
Super
and it's just going to make your house smell terrible.
Yeah.
But let's get into this edit.
Ooh.
Edit 2, just want to add some further clarification as I'm getting a lot of comments misunderstanding when I knew information from. My fault, not commenters. The timeline is confusing. 2 months ago, sister-in-law and I were talking and she told me the extent of her and new guy's emotional affair. This came up because bro had found text messages between them telling each other they loved each other. Apologies for missing this fact as it's important to the timeline. So we knew about this before I did. A day later, I asked her what's happening because I spent the night before telling her she and bro should separate if this is not what they want, etc. And she, to an extent, agreed. But then she told me her and bro had had a big heart-to-heart, had made up, and when I asked about new guy, she said he was not a problem. So I took that to mean she dumped him. And at the time, I had no reason to think she was lying. I mentioned this in a comment, but not in the original post, as I didn't feel it was relevant. But now I think it explains why I didn't take any further action right then. I was massively preoccupied with losing, a pregnancy. 2, now 3 days ago, I had massive conversations with her that started about her health issues. She told me then that all the crazy spending was part of her issues and it was a lot worse than they'd ever made out. Before, they both said it was just because of an educational private loan for a master's and that she was doing it on purpose. I had no idea of this before 2 days ago. She also divulged all the info about new guy, and when I asked about her and bro making up 2 months ago, she admitted she lied and she hadn't even spoken to him since then. 24 hours ago, I saw both of them together, and something my brother said assured me that she was not lying about what she told me, and she was really cheating. I also realized that she'd been using me as another risk take and playing games with me. I am pissed. I am not on her side. I am 100% with my brother. I have every intention of telling him. I've arranged to see him today. I just needed advice on how to tell him, which I have got, so thanks. And there is an update.
Whoa.
So I've spoken to my brother. I was literally so nervous I felt sick, but it actually was a lot more okay than I expected. He'd guessed something was up. I was worried about her being there, so I told him I needed help with my car. Immediately apologized for basically kidnapping him under false pretenses and told him everything I knew. Sister-in-law had already told him that she'd lied to me to see if I would betray her and tell him. She's like, I tested you and you failed. He saw through that and knew she was lying. He didn't know the full extent of their affair, so I told him everything she'd told me, plus the additional info about her not wanting children and the debt stuff. He didn't know that she didn't want children and was understandably hurt. By the way, I'd be hurt if you didn't listen to full episodes with stories just like this.
So hurt.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But let's finish this off.
Go.
He's going to have a talk with her and see what she says. He said if she tells the truth about everything and ends it with a new guy, he could possibly see forgiving her and moving on. I told him I thought that was a mistake. It's true. Due to the children and debts and the fact that she won't accept help / take medication for her mental health issues means that even without the affair, his future with her is, in my opinion, bleak and miserable. I've told him that I'm there for him 100% and he has a room at our house from whenever he needs it, even if it's at 3 a.m. or very short notice, it doesn't matter. I told him that for the meantime, I will not have any involvement with sister-in-law and that there's no way I can ever be friends with her ever again, even if they do magically fix things and live happily ever after. Good on you, OP. I'm proud of you. He understood and agreed that she was a crap person. Now, all I can do is wait and hope that he leaves her and moved on to have a happy, healthy life. Thanks, everyone. And there is a third edit.
I
think to really finish us off.
The epilogue.
I, my husband, and older brother have all been blocked on Facebook. Crap's going down.
By the
sister-in-law, I believe.
Great. Thanks for doing
Honestly,
that for us.
Made it easier. Didn't have to look you up.
Wow.
I'm just hoping that the brother bites the bullet and divorces her.
I am praying because I guess back to the whole thing of like, they met when they were like 14, 15. Yeah. it's like that's all you know. And I could see the brother kind of just getting in this, the warped reality field and being like, oh, well, it's like
there's nothing else.
There's nothing else. And like we've known each other like our whole like, adolescent to adult lives. Like, oh, I'll just stick it out and hope for the best. But
yeah,
it seems like he is, although we've teetered on the edge, it does seem like ultimately he's going to land on the side of not being with her.
I am hoping. I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen.
Fingers crossed. But proud of OP.
Yes.
For sticking to her thoughts and saying, I don't want to ever see that sister-in-law in my town again.
She had her thoughts. She stuck to him.
Yep.
I've been married to my husband for a month, and I just found out he's having an affair with my sister.
Short marriage, long month.
I've been in shock since I found out. We've been married for a month.
Aye.
He's been having the affair with my sister since before we got engaged back in November.
Aye.
My sister is 8 months pregnant.
Ooh.
Her husband was the one who discovered the affair, and he is divorcing her. He had to get a test done on the advice of his aunt, who is a solicitor, to make sure their 1.5-year-old son was his child. But my sister doesn't yet know if her husband or my husband is the father of her baby.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia!
Here we go again.
By the way, this comes from user offmychestthrowaway276, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I will be seeking a divorce, even though my husband wants us to go to counseling and stay married. Well, good job. I'm an advocate, a barrister, which is some sort of English law stuff. So I won't have any trouble finding a solicitor at least. The law only takes adultery into consideration as to why the marriage broke down and not for how the assets are divided or settled. However, at least I will not have to pay him support since we were only married for a month before I moved out of our flat. I will never speak to my sister again, no matter how much she begs me to forgive her, and I'm not staying married to my husband, no matter how much he begs me to stay. I don't believe either of them when they say they are sorry, not one bit.
And I wouldn't believe them either. I said it before and I'll say it again. She lied to you for 9 months.
Yeah, dude.
9 months.
She's been lying.
Lying. Why are you always lying?
She's always walking around with those hot pants on because they're on fire. We have some comments here before we get into the update. Comment 1, I'm so sorry for their betrayal. I would never speak to her ever again either. Comment 2, since you've only been married for a month, is an annulment an option? So sorry for what you're going through. Sis and hubby are both trash. Commenter 3, they are only sorry they got caught. OP, this is one of the worst ways to be cheated on. F them both. You are better than them. I hope the kid is your husband's so that you and your ex-brother-in-law don't have to be tied to these losers anymore. Number 4, OP, the law may limit your legal entitlements. However, the threat of exposure in alleging adultery and the publication of his and your sister's adulterous acts may cause his willingness to provide you a stipend or settlement in excess of the customary entitlement. Absent that, blow them both up with family, friends, acquaintances, and social media. Both merit the absolute worst. Good luck to you. Please keep us apprised. And we do have an update 10 months
Whoa, 10 months later. So baby born. Baby Bjorn.
Potentially.
I'm really hoping that OP is like doing great in freaking, I don't know, Fiji, living life, has 2 hotties on either arm and not even thinking about her sister or that pathetic excuse of a man.
Update. People who say you should get over it when someone cheats on you have no idea what it's like. Last June, I, female 37, found out my husband, male 39, was having an affair with my 27-year-old sister.
Yeah.
I had been married for a month. The affair began before I was engaged. My sister's husband, male 27, was the one who first found out. When it was discovered, my sister was about 8 months pregnant with a baby girl, and it turned out my ex-husband is the father.
Yeah, I mean, they said that she was 8 months pregnant, and I think they said the affair began like 9 months ago.
Yeah, that timing is timing up.
Not looking good for them. And clearly proven right.
Apparently, he was furious when he found out because he didn't want children.
Too freaking bad. OP didn't want a cheating husband, so, you know.
My ex-husband and I met in an online dating group for people who don't want children or to date people who have children from former relationships. My ex-husband and my sister both begged me to forgive them. My sister said she can't help it, that she fell in love with him, and my ex-husband said he couldn't be blamed for what happened.
Wow, they're doing a really bad job at asking for forgiveness.
Yeah. They're like, can you forgive us because it's entirely not our fault?
They're like, we couldn't help it.
And it's, yeah.
What was I supposed to do? Forgive me. I'm not apologizing, but forgive me.
I'm begging. I couldn't believe they thought what they did could be forgiven and forgotten. My ex-husband didn't want a divorce, and neither did my sister from my former brother-in-law.
Who cares what you guys want?
Yeah. OP says, guess what? I'm divorced now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shock.
As you should be. I'm an advocate known as a barrister in the rest of the UK, so I was fortunate to already know the best solicitors who could represent me in my divorce. Since I was only married for a month before I sought a divorce and moved out of our flat, I did not have to pay my ex-husband maintenance, and the divorce did not take long. It's a different story for my sister and my former brother-in-law. They were married for longer. They own property and they have a son together who was 17 months old when the affair was discovered. My sister may end up having to pay spousal and child maintenance since she earns more. Their divorce is ongoing. I haven't spoken with my former brother-in-law since I first left my ex-husband, but I feel badly for him. He was devastated when he found out about the affair and the baby not being his child. He didn't deserve any of that. People who say you should just get over it when someone cheats, you have no idea what you're talking about. I have never felt pain like this before. It wasn't even just emotional, it was physical as well. I'm still heartbroken over this. I had no idea anything could hurt so much. I'm going to start seeing a counselor, but it doesn't feel like enough. I haven't seen or spoken to my ex-husband since I moved out of our flat. The only contact during the divorce was through our solicitors. He doesn't exist to me, and neither does my sister. I haven't seen or spoken to my sister since shortly after I left my ex-husband, and I never want to see her again. She, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. I don't think I'll ever heal from this. Well, we're definitely really hurt.
Absolutely.
We're in a lot of pain and it hurts real bad.
And hope you just know you will heal.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time and you're always going to have like a part of that with you, but it's a part that's going to protect you and it's going to kind of help you learn and
You're Gandalf
and spot some of these red flags maybe in the future, but it will heal just slowly.
You're just not going to be the same
Not gonna be the same person.
Just a little different. I'm fortunate my parents, my other sister, and most of my family support me and have disowned my traitorous sister and no longer have contact with her. Anyone who tells me I should forgive her or chooses her over me gets removed from my life with no second chance. I don't ever want to hear anything about either one of them again. From what my ex-husband's solicitor said during my divorce, they, the sister and my ex-husband, plan to marry after she is granted a divorce. Okay, cool.
Oh, man.
Are we not rocking with that, right? I'm not rocking with that.
Oh, man. But maybe they're like, oh, but we're having a baby.
Oh, yeah. They're like, it's so exciting. What an exciting time.
Well, it might not even be like, oh, the excitement. It might just be like, we have to get married because we're having a baby.
But can you imagine like just like the veneer over it of everyone being like, we're so excited. We're having a baby. Oh, how do we get pregnant? I'll tell you later. I'll tell you when the kid's 15.
I'll tell you when you're older. You're like, I'm 35. I'll tell you when you're older.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about either one of them since then. I try not to even think about either of them. They were two of the people I loved most in the world, and they did something that I'll never heal from. They are selfish, and they destroyed me, and anyone who says I should get over this or forgive and forget has no idea what it is like. And we have some comments here. Comment 1, thank you for the update. You and your brother-in-law are both making the best possible decision. You're right. Your ex and your ex-sister are horrible, selfish people. They hurt so many, and do whatever you can to protect your peace and mental health. I'm so sorry they did this to you. Honestly, I'd recommend blocking anyone who says you need to forgive them and move on. No, you don't. You may at some point in the future need to explore forgiveness from the point of view of easing the weight on your heart. Were we all paying attention? That's what we do. But process it at your own rate. But I think we should do that like real fast as possible. Lessen the weight in your own heart space. Don't feel pressured to offer forgiveness to either of them.
Nope.
I wish you the best of luck in the future. Commenter 2, guarantee the only reason sister's marrying the ex at this point is because he's all she has and she's been disowned by the entire family. It's a marriage of convenience. Something tells me that's going to be one toxic relationship, as I'm sure there'll be resentment there from both of them, and they'll have no one to blame but themselves. All I can say for the ex who never wanted kids, karma. While I feel for the kid, I hope the kid doesn't grow up with parents that resent him. They don't deserve that. Commenter 3, I'm so sorry sorry. Never mind your ex. What a betrayal from your own sister. Couldn't even imagine. Number 4, do something really special for yourself, like a trip, an activity, a shopping spree, whatever it is. You deserve whatever small joys you can find. As much as it hurts, think about them together. Her just having had a baby and he gets distant or angry or aloof, she will forever be looking over her shoulder wondering if he's cheating. She deserves to live in that misery. They might stay together, but they'll be miserable. And by the way, you'll never be miserable if you take your thumbs and you mosey on over to your podcast platform of choice.
Take them over.
Be it Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. And you just use those little thumbs and you go boop, boop, beep, boop, bop, boop,
Use
boop,
those
boop.
little digits.
And that's me searching OK Storytime.
It might be a little bit hard to use just your thumbs.
I type with my thumb exclusively.
With your thumbs?
Exclusively. On my phone.
Hold on. I'm genuinely blanking on how I use my phone.
Just
I
pretend.
might
You
text.
use the second hand to support it, and then you use your thumbs.
Oh, no, I do use my thumbs. Everyone, it's fine. Yeah, I do. Sorry, I just forgot how I do it. I use my thumbs.
I'm going to trade you. Here, you can take this
Okay.
one. I'll take that
Confirmed,
one. Because that
I
was
use
the
my
end of that
thumbs.
story. That is the end of that story.